Hi everyone. In this video, we will see how to add transactions in our DevWeb protocol. So before going to add a transaction, so let us know what is a transaction and why we call it as a transaction. So we'll consider as a transaction when you're navigating from one page to another page. Like let's take an example like when J Pet Store application. So when you click on this link like uh, sign in, the page has loaded from previous page to new page. So we will be considering this action as a transaction and we will declare that as a transaction sign in or some other readable format where user can see that after the performance testing. Okay. So using that, we can define how many users has completed the action sign in and we'll give the response times for that action. And when you enter the username password, this is another action. So generally that we can simplify the statement like the actions which are done by the user to navigate from the your navigate through your application from one page to another page. Each and every action is called it as a transaction. So now this is the actual help document for your DevWeb protocol. So let's search for the transactions. So here we have a transactions. Yeah, here we have a transaction. So this is how we need to start a transaction. So now this is a transaction name. So once you're done with your performance testing, you will get an HTML report. In that HTML report, you will be seeing this name. And with respect to, according to the, in the report for this transaction, LoadRunner or any performance tool will give the respective metrics like the response time, hits, throughput, sent bytes, received bytes, past transaction, failed transaction, everything based on this request. So based on this transaction. So if you're not adding your transaction, then you will be getting each and every request as a separate transaction in JMeter and some other things. So in LoadRunner also you'll be getting the number of requests and number of details. So but you will be not getting the request level information. You cannot get the transactional information. Even if you give this information to your project managers or something, they will not understand what is the URL. So if you mention the readable format of for a specific transaction, they will understand what we have done in that transaction. So that's the importance of the transaction. Now let's copy this, go to our script. So in my script, I have recorded a script as a Tomcat application which will launch the homepage and go to the manager apps. Okay, now here launch Tomcat. Now here it was starting the transaction. Here we are declaring the transaction. So here I will give it as a LUNCH launch transaction. Okay, I'll copy this and I'll paste this. Now I'll need to stop the transaction based on the status. Okay. Uh, transaction. This is transaction passed. So we are sitting here. That's a transaction. This will also give the transaction. This is the generally start and stop transactions. And now if you want to set with some of the values and some of the response time, even still you can override the values. So this is the best way that we can use now. So I am stopping the transaction. So we have already declared the variable here. Let's go here and this is launch request. Here I am clicking enter and pasting, change that to a stop. Okay, stop transaction. Now again I'm going to declare the another transaction that is login to Tomcat, login to manager UI. Okay, login. It's login. Okay, here I'll make it as a login. Then I need to start the transaction here. Dot start the transaction. Okay. Now I'm going to end the transaction again. So this is my transaction. This is my transaction where it was started. So this is the bracket opened here, and this is the bracket closed here. So here it should be stop. Okay. Now I'm replaying it now. Let it run. So now if you see, we got the transaction pass status with duration 96 milliseconds, and if you go up, you will have another transaction with launch Tomcat with 148 seconds. Okay. Okay, now we'll do one thing. Now we'll disable. Now we'll comment out the transaction. So it will give it will give you the transaction details and the response times of this transactions. If you don't provide a transaction, let me comment out the login one. Let it comment the login one. Yeah, I have commented the login one. So you will if you disable the transaction, if you don't have transactions, it's a bit trouble, typical task to understand how much response time you got for a login. So you will as a performance tester, as a developers, they will understand which URL comes under the response, which transaction. But the business owners, the managers will not know what is the page and what is the related transaction. So if you see the login one, so it was very clear here that transaction passed with the details, and this is the transaction completed. It request sent, and this is the bytes downloaded. Okay, and you have the information of the transaction whether to pass or fail. So if you come to our here the next request has started. Here the next request has started, register to send, which is a login. Now if you scroll down, if you scroll down here, so it was completed all the requests. You got all the requests, all sub requests, and it was completed. It was giving the status that it was completed. Okay, manager status login.manager.html completed, but you are not able to see the response time for the respective transaction. So that is the importance of your transaction, declaring a transaction, and that transaction will give you the response time of your request. So that's the most important point in your performance testing. If you don't have a transaction created, then it's hard to find the response time for your login step and login to any action of a user done. So please, this is one of the major factor in your scripting. Please, thanks for listening this, and please follow and subscribe our channel.